Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, and today I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind for like a couple of weeks. And that subject is talent versus skill, and why I think conversations around natural talent are often like misleading. So for the longest time I felt like I wasn't talented enough, like I was missing some kind of magical ingredient that other creatives like really seem to have like from the jump. Maybe you felt that way too, I don't know. But the thing is, like through my actual journey as a producer and creative, I've discovered something important, and that is that talent without hard work rarely amounts to much, and that skills can absolutely be built from the ground up. So when I first started making music, I was terrible. Like seriously, my beats were off tempo, the mixes were muddy, everything sounded terrible. Like the absolute worst they could ever sound is as bad as my beats have sounded, okay? And I used to look at other producers and be like, yo, they must have been born with like a fucking ear for this, and don't get me wrong, some of them are. And I remember spending hours like watching tutorials and practicing and kind of feeling like I wasn't progressing. There were moments where I genuinely believed that some people were just meant to be creative, and maybe I was not one of them. But the thing about me is I kept showing up day after day, project after project, and I started to improve. Not overnight and not in massive leaps, but in small, consistent steps. And that's the experience that makes me question what talent really is and whether it matters as much as we all think it does. Okay, so there's this fascinating body of research around talent and deliberate practice done by Anders Ericsson, who studied expert performance for decades. And he found that what separates experts from amateurs isn't some innate ability. It's actually the thousands of hours of structured, focused practice. So the famous 10,000 hour rule that was actually popularized by Malcolm Gladwell was based on his research. And while that exact number is debated, the principle holds true, right? Mastery requires time and intentional effort. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but it is a habit. That's a quote that's attributed to the great Aristotle, and it perfectly captures what I experienced. So what is talent really? Maybe it's just an early interest that had led to earlier practice. I think about some of the people that I know who I perceive as super talented, but have also been doing art and making music, for example, as early as 7 to 8 years old. And yeah, of course they're going to make great stuff by the time that they're an adult. They've put in those years and hours of practice. So maybe what we perceive as talent is just predisposition. And that predisposition only becomes meaningful when you actually develop it. You feel me? Because what I do know about talent is talent without work ethic doesn't get you anywhere. I've seen lots of talented people who never reach their maximum potential because they don't want to put in the hours on their actual skills, or even when it comes to marketing themselves and turning their talents into a product, right? But also I've seen people with little natural aptitude achieve amazing things through persistence. So what I actually think now is that talent, though it may determine your starting point, hard work determines where you end. So when we're attributing someone's success purely to talent, we're doing two harmful things, right? The first thing we're doing is we're diminishing the thousands of hours of time and effort and energy that they invested into their craft. And then two, we're giving ourselves an excuse not to try because we may not be talented enough. All right, so today I'm still growing as a music producer. I'm still learning different techniques, exploring different styles, and constantly pushing myself outside my comfort zone. But to really show you what I mean about skill development, I'm going to play for you guys a old beat that I made. Now, this is one of the first beats I've ever made. Back in like 2016 or 2017. It's trash, okay? Like, I'm not even gonna say anything more than that. Okay, so now I'm gonna play for you guys a beat that I made last week. is hard. And let me tell you that that was achieved through consistent practice, okay? It's not because I suddenly discovered the secret to making beats or whatever the fuck. It's because I just put in the work. And you guys can tell, like, listen to how much cleaner the mixing is. The drums are harder, wider. There's different things going on. Like, it's a more cohesive production than what the stuff you heard earlier was, of course. I feel like I don't even need to point out all that shit. But yeah, anyways, I want to do some tips for skill development so you guys can actually get better at making music, making beats, whatever you guys want to develop creatively. Here's some good tips. First thing you want to do is make sure that you're practicing daily. Consistency is absolutely key. Even if it's just 30 minutes a day, make sure you're practicing every single day because small daily improvements compound over time. And you won't believe how effective this is until you experience it, okay? 2, make sure you're always learning new skills. Don't just practice the stuff that you're good at. Make sure that you're going beyond that. I'm always looking for new techniques and new softwares, new plugins, and new stuff to try and push my music to that next level. The broader your skill set is, the more creative freedom you actually will have. 3, make sure you're watching YouTube tutorials. That actually goes in with 2 a little bit. YouTube has everything that you could possibly need to know about making music, period. You just have to know what you're looking for and be willing to learn. And if you need that extra boost, that's where tip 4 comes in, because that's where you want to start taking courses. If you need a little bit more structure with your learning, then I think courses are worth the investment. And I also think that they kind of force you to learn the things in a logical sequence and fill in knowledge gaps from just watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. And then the 5th one is definitely analyze work from artists that you admire. When I hear a great track, I don't just enjoy it. A lot of the times I study the production, what makes that mix sound so good, and how is the arrangement structured, what production techniques are they using. A lot of times I also like to go into what kind of chords are they messing with, key signatures, tempos, and that helps me a lot when I'm making beats because I like to make different types of beats. But now I want to talk about some of the common myths about talent. First one being, like, if you don't have natural talent, then you shouldn't try. This is probably like the most damaging myth that exists for producers. Like, a lot of the most successful ones aren't like the most naturally gifted. I feel like they're just the ones that refuse to quit. Natural aptitude, like I said, might give you a head start, but you need to persist, and that'll take you further than anybody who's naturally talented. 2, you can instantly recognize talented people. Now, I don't think that's true because what we perceive as talent is often just a result of a lot of practice. That producer who seems to effortlessly create amazing tracks probably has spent thousands of hours behind closed doors. And then, myth 3, talent is fixed at birth. Neuroscience has thoroughly debunked this. I know you guys are probably getting tired of me using big words, but your brain physically changes in response to practice and forms new neural connections. Let me repeat that. Your brain physically changes in response to practice. You can literally become more talented through practice, okay? So just keep practicing. You'll get there. And I'm telling you, I'm not the only one who feels this way about talent and skill. Let me share some insights from other artists who have spoken about this on their journey. So Ed Sheeran, he once said that it's not about being the most talented, it's about being the most hardworking. And Rick Rubin has also stated that the best art is made from people who have dedicated their lives to it. It's divine inspiration, it's practice. So even after all these years, I'm definitely still developing new skills. I'm currently working on my guitar playing slowly but surely, and I'm making some progress. I'm also diving a little bit into music theory and keyboard, which is something I wish I'd started a lot sooner. But for the past few years, I've even been challenging myself to create everything completely from scratch and not just arranging sample, but also just composing the entire chord progression, the melody, the drums, and creating my own sound, and even going as far as to create my own sounds through synthesizers and field recordings that I take with my phone. As my skills grow, I find myself focusing more on the emotional impact of my music rather than just the technicality of it. And that's like the beautiful thing about being able to develop the skill, because once the fundamentals become second nature, you can focus on your artistic expression. So if you're feeling like you're not talented enough, I just want you to know that talent is just a small factor in the whole occasion. Your dedication, consistency, and willingness to learn will matter way more. Whether you're making music, art, videos, or anything creative, your skills can and will grow. Your abilities are not fixed, and the only real question is, are you willing to put in that work? So yeah, I'd love to hear about your experiences with this debate. Have you ever felt limited by a lack of skill or natural talent? And have you seen your skills improve with practice? And maybe you set a record. Let me know how long it took for you to make music the way you feel like making it or whatever, man. Like, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace. What's up, guys? I just wanted to thank y'all for watching the video and let y'all know that I have a Patreon available. Over there, I have an hour-long session of me recording a song from scratch, and that's over there for free. Also, for people who want to take stuff to the next level, I have a paid membership option with exclusive loop kits, drum kits, updates for my Enter the Void kit, live stream replays for my Instagram lives, solo sessions, 30% off beats. I'm shouting out members in my videos, and I'm also giving them early access to videos, beat song feedback. I got 4 unreleased albums and early song releases. So if that's something you would like, go ahead and head on over to the Patreon and check it out. There's a link in the description. Thanks for watching the video once again, and I'll catch you in the next one.